All right, Charlotte. So as we come to the end of 2023, let's talk a little bit about what the year had for us, trends that we saw, things that changed throughout the year. Give us your 2023 rental market recap.
Wow, it's been a really good year, and it's been surprisingly busy the entire year. I don't feel like I ever slowed down this year with people that were looking for properties or deciding to hang on to a property. I saw a really big trend that with the increased interest rates that other people had, that they decided because their interest rate was low, they were like, hey, I'm just going to hang on to this property and make it a rental property and become an investor. It was awesome. I call it like the accidental investor. It was great.
Yeah, the math makes a lot more sense when you have rents that are continuing to grow, but you have a low interest rate and a pretty easy mortgage payment. You know, that continues to get better over time as the mortgage stays roughly the same and the rents continue to grow.
Exactly. And I think people were really excited to become investors. I found that I was educating a lot of people on how to be an investor. There was a lot of things they didn't know about, and it worked out really, really great that we were able to explain everything to them, and then they got excited about doing it, which is really fun to work with people like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about what you saw as far as rental rates, how they changed throughout the year.
Yeah, they did change a little bit. I think it was the fact that over the past 3 years, perhaps we had an incredible amount of demand, but our inventory was really, really limited. As our inventory has increased a little bit, I feel like people maybe rental rates weren't quite as high as they were the past 3 years. They kind of have normalized, what I call a little bit. Not gone down, but I feel like they've kind of leveled normal.
Right. Yeah, there was a period of very high inflation in the United States, which certainly the rental market did not go unaffected by that inflation. And so you saw, as there was a rush to move out of multifamily and to move out of large apartment complexes and into single family when people were spending a lot more time at home, that drove the prices way up for single family rentals, but they've normalized. Some people, you look at it without big context and you think, oh wow, prices are falling. They're not falling. They're just normalizing to pre-COVID levels, you could say. And they're still well above pre-COVID levels.
Exactly.
They're just not as super inflated as they were.
Exactly. And I did find too that people, they were the great tenant because they were really qualified to buy a home. They're just kind of hanging tight a little bit, but waiting to see if interest rates will bump down a little bit. So they were the perfect tenant to have. And I think that kind of brought in some really great tenants that they realized, hey, for some people, honestly, it makes more sense to rent right now.
It really does. And one of the most interesting data pieces that I saw consistently throughout 2023 was that for the same home, on average across the United States, it costs roughly $1,000 a month less to rent it than to pay the mortgage payment, which has not always been the case.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people have even recognized the fact too, as they try to live a certain lifestyle perhaps or something, they're really happy to go rent a really great house like most of the homes in our inventory are. And then they know exactly what their budget is and they're able to go do other things perhaps that they want to, or save money to put towards that house when the rates come down.
Right. Did you see a lot of investment activity, investors that you're talking to from outside of the Wilmington area or outside of the North Carolina area this year? And if so, sort of where were most of those people located?
Yeah, I feel like we still are talking to a lot of people from California. I've had a lot of investors that perhaps will sell one piece of property in California and then they come here and they buy three. Also, a lot of people from the New York area, New Jersey area. And I've even had a few people that are relocating to Florida and then they give us their house to manage here because they want to keep it because they're not sure if they plan on returning back here. So we kind of saw all kinds of situations, but I would say California was a big state to move here, buy property here.
Yeah. Did you still see, I know in the past we've had a lot of activity in the south of Jacksonville area. Hampstead is an exploding community. Sneads Ferry is growing quite a bit. Did you see a lot of military families approaching us about renting their house out while they were on a deployment?
Yeah, we're getting a lot of people. Typically orders will come through, or the PCSs will come through for summer. So we're sort of anticipating, I'm already being contacted by people that know they're going to be relocating next June.
Right.
There's a big move in June, a couple of people moving in March, and many of them want to keep their property.
Right.
I mean, they're honestly keeping properties wherever they're stationed. They'll buy and then they'll get it rented out when they leave. And they've got properties all over. So that's kind of interesting, the military investor.
Yeah, and I would assume that probably takes place even more in our market than in some other military markets, simply because Marines, mostly Marines, get stationed in Lejeune up in Jacksonville, and they discover Hampstead and Topsail, and they think, man, when I'm done with the military, this is where I want to live.
Exactly.
So you buy a house while you have all of the strategic advantages that you get while you're in the military when it comes to housing, and then you just let us rent it out while you are finishing up your military career, and then you finish, you come back into your house. It's roughly the way that you bought it, but you've made a lot of money in the process, and your home has appreciated a ton.
Exactly, because who wouldn't want to go ahead and have somebody paying their mortgage? And then you come back and the home's even appreciated. I mean, on average right now, homes are appreciating anywhere from 4 to 7% a year, which is amazing.
It's true. I read a statistic yesterday that the average home price in Wilmington from 5 years ago to today, so the average home price appreciation in the last 5 years, $130,000.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
And it could be yours.
It could be yours. And I tell people, like, hang on to it. Like,
Yeah.
if you can, if your mortgage rate is 4 or less, it makes sense for you to keep it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we've had like an incredible 2023. We're super excited for everything that we're going to do next year. We've got a couple of really great ideas. We're getting ready to have our end of the year planning meeting. So I'm excited about 2024, Brad.
Me too.